Hey, everybody. We're live today. And today on Autoimmune Table Talk, I have a special guest that I'll introduce in a couple minutes. Okay. But before that, today, we're actually going into all about sex, hormones, and autoimmune, true or false, with my friend, Dude. We'll be right back. And hormones. All right, everybody, welcome to today's Facebook Live and Instagram Live and YouTube Live. I'm Maggie, MD, functional holistic medicine physician and the owner of Transform. Today, we're all talking about sex, hormones, and autoimmune. We did a big Q&A actually last week about what are some of the underlying issues causing sexual issues in sex and autoimmune and hormones. But this week, we're having a true or false. Now, I actually want to introduce my friend Joseph here, okay? Joseph and I have known each other for a while now, and I want to explain why he's here today is because he egged me on. Don't ask me why, but we were in a deep conversation about 2 weeks ago, all about like sex and autoimmune. He kept asking me all these questions, and he's like, you should do this as a live. We should make July the hot sexual month for Transform Autoimmune. So I said, I'm going to do it, dude, if you're going to come on with me. So he's here today, and he's going to be asking me questions all about sex and autoimmunity, and we're going true or false with this one. Do you want to do a quick little intro about yourself and a little background?
Yeah, my name's Joseph, aka Dude. Like you said, known her for a while. She's kind of my go-to when it comes to, sex questions, anything regarding health. She just is more open than most doctors that I know. So it's a real pleasure to be here. I work in the industry. Dr. Yu is top notch, somebody I respect a lot, and I'm ready to dig deep. It's going to get embarrassing for me and probably not so much for her, but we're going to get into it.
That's awesome. So today we actually have asked the Facebook group to submit a bunch of questions about sex and autoimmunity. A lot of people don't know that autoimmunity really impacts upon sex big time in so many ways that's unexpected. So if you missed my live from last week, I'd love for you guys to check out, just say live from last week in the comment section, or check out our YouTube and Facebook for my really super long, fun session last week, all about what are some of the causes of sexual issues relating with sex that nobody is talking about. So today, if you're watching right now, if you could tell me in the comment section below whether you're on Instagram or not. Thanks for joining me. All these people on Instagram too as well, and YouTube. Thanks for joining me. In the comment section, you could tell me a little bit about what autoimmune issue you struggle with. That'd be great. If you want to learn more about Transform Autoimmune, I'm the owner of Transform Autoimmune. It's a 2-month online program to turn around any autoimmune disease naturally. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, make sure you click the link above or below this video and join our Facebook group, which is called Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. Or you can check out the website, drmaggie.com. Now, without further ado, we're going to jump into some questions and statements that Dude is going to present to me from the Facebook group, and we're going to answer true or false, and we're going to answer some questions. All right, let's get into it. Take it away, Dude.
Oh, Dude's taking it away. So first and foremost, question about testosterone. Okay. Testosterone is the most important hormone in female libido. True or false?
Of course, a guy is going to ask me this question. Because, guys and a lot of people think it's a very male-centric way of thinking about hormones and sex, that we think that testosterone is the be-all, end-all for men and women.
I do think that, yes.
Well, it's not true.
Right.
It's false. Testosterone is not the most important hormone in actually female libido. The answer is different for men. But for women, interestingly, testosterone has to do with more pelvic floor strength. So it's muscular strength, and it has to do with more the ability to get there. So when women experience difficulty, let's say it takes longer to get there or it's weaker than it used to be, that could be a testosterone hormone related issue. But that really doesn't necessarily have anything to do with libido. So last week I did a whole talk about finding your libido. In fact, I did this thing. I was like, finding your libido. Where's your libido? And if you missed that, make sure you check it out. But they're just for women, to make long and short of it, there's actually a lot more. The hormones that I find that are actually more, if you were talking hormonal issues, I think the balance between estrogen and progesterone, that balance has more to do with it, because when those hormones are off, it impacts upon like weight, anxiety, sleep, depression, fatigue. Those issues are way bigger for female libido than testosterone actually is. Whereas in women, like I think it's more related with the sexual function, but the desire to have sex really in women has nothing to do with testosterone. I see women with high testosterone with horrible libidos, and I see women with low testosterone with wonderful libidos. So I think that's a big myth. So it's false, absolutely false, that testosterone is the major driver of libido in women.
Okay, well, I was way off. I was way off there.
Okay.
Okay, so you mentioned a different answer in terms of male libido. So once again, testosterone is the most important hormone of male libido. True or false?
True.
Okay.
True. And interestingly, okay, men actually have 10 times more testosterone than women. So men, the level of testosterone in men is 10 times more, you poor thing. But I actually have found that there is a direct correlation in sex drive in men and testosterone. But here's the thing. I actually think that the focus on testosterone in men is all wrong, because we think it's for men, it's all about libido and sexual dysfunction. So the only times I see guys being tested for testosterone is when they have ED, erectile dysfunction. By that point, it's really late in the game of declining testosterone.
Right.
So I really think that we're missing the ball on testing for men and testosterone, because what are some of the early signs in men? Weight gain, anxiety, ADD symptoms, fatigue, difficulty with getting results from exercise. And how many men out there are already experiencing that? And the problem is, you go in and then you ask the doctor to test your testosterone or thyroid or adrenals, and they look at you like, what, you want to bodybuild and you want to abuse testosterone? And that can't be further from the truth. So I actually did a talk about 2 weeks ago on men and autoimmunity, why I actually think men with autoimmunity are actually the most underserved or mistreated population in the autoimmune space. Because that's the thing. Women go in, yes, we get dismissed for testing hormones, but men is further stigmatized. It's almost like there's a judgment, like, oh, you want to bodybuild, that's why you want testosterone. But you're just asking for a test to be done that's needed for a lot of mental health, there's physical health reasons. And unfortunately, that's not tested very often in men. I don't know how many times men come into this program where men have been dealing with 10 years of depression or ADD, never had it tested before. And that happens every single day in the program. When we meet in a group to go through results, it's shocking. It's shocking how off male hormones are, and they've never been tested, even more so than women.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I myself have never been tested. And you know what I was actually going to bring up is I had my fiance had a baby 3 months ago.
Right.
My libido is so low. I mean, including hers. And that was something I actually wanted to ask you. I mean, 3-month-old baby, I have very little, desire, or urge to have sex at this point.
Right.
I mean, what is the reason behind that? Is that,
yeah. And so like a lot of, and a lot of people will automatically assume for you that it's probably testosterone level. And it could be like in a man, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a testosterone level issue. But the thing is, why, let's say, even if it was a low testosterone issue, what caused it? Like, that's what I'm interested in. That's why for me, so much of what we do in our program is about adequate and proper hormone testing. And it's not just testosterone. A lot of this is estrogen, progesterone, thyroid hormones, adrenal hormones, right? And if they're off, why do you think they're off? And how does it relate to your fiance or you guys having a baby, right?
Right.
Guess what? I talked about last week. Insomnia has a lot to do with hormonal health and libido, and that's men and women. If you're not sleeping at night, that's when most of your hormones are being made. And that's when most of the hormone balancing is happening. And so the thing is, it's not uncommon for men and women to have disturbances in their sleep when you have a newborn at home.
That makes a lot of sense. And
that really wreaks havoc on all these hormone production, not just testosterone, but like your hormones are being balanced. Like Joseph, like it's not just testosterone. What's happening with your progesterone or your estrogen? I just did a review of somebody's hormones, a guy in our program, and his testosterone was just perfect, right? But he had all these symptoms of weight gain and mood issues and fatigue that was really debilitating. And it turns out his estrogen was through the roof. So I don't think it's necessarily true that testosterone is the most important or the only hormone to test in men. I really think a thorough hormonal evaluation as the underlying causes are really important. And if you missed the live that I did last week all about sex, I actually talk about like insomnia is huge in disrupting the libido in men and women.
That makes a lot of sense. And then earlier you just mentioned weight gain in ADHD. those are all things that I feel apply to me since having, you know, the baby. And so something I'll have to look out for.
Well, and that, I mean, ADHD, you guys are going to be surprised, is that, do you know how much more frequently men and women with autoimmunity are diagnosed with ADHD, or ADD, which is attention deficit disorder? And how many of you out there watching right now have brain fog? I don't care if you're male, female, whatever, you know, person. If you have brain fog, can you type brain fog in the chat right now? And what I'm finding out is I was diagnosed with ADD for 10 years, and I even took ADD medication for about 5 years. I don't actually have ADD. What I have is hormone, blood sugar, food-related comatose brain as a result of my autoimmunity.
Interesting.
So it's really overdiagnosed and misdiagnosed all the time in the autoimmune population. And here's the thing. If you have brain fog, would you want to have sex? Because this is where, like, it's going to be interesting. Like, for a guy, it's hard to focus on it. For women, if you can't get in the mood, if you're going over like all the reasons the day was shitty, all the things you got to do, or the kid in the other room, you don't want to wake up because if he or she wakes up, you're going to be up another 2 hours. Like, you can't focus. So you have medical reasons why you have brain fog. And then you got a real baby here who, if she woke up, you're going to be like, oh man, it's another 2 hours up.
Yeah,
right?
You're describing both my fiance and I in the same sentence. I mean, to the T. So
I got you.
You got me. I had no doubt that was going to happen.
Circle of trust. All right.
Okay. Little deeper. Is all lube, okay, so true or false, all lube is great for those with autoimmune disease?
Well, that question obviously isn't for you because you probably don't ever think you need to use lube.
Guilty. I'm young.
You're like, me, no. My fiance, my ladies don't need no lube. I'm going to tell you.
Oh, no, it's so true.
Lube is not only important, it's necessary. And especially with autoimmune, believe it or not, there's actually 10,000 additional reasons why lube is really important. Because dryness is actually, there's so many mechanisms for dryness. It's not just hormonal differences, hormonal changes that causes vaginal dryness and pain. The other thing is that there's actually autoimmune mechanisms attacking some of the cells that create moisture, that makes the mucus or the moisture in the mucosal membrane. So it's not just dry vaginal area. You can have dry eyes, dry throat, decreased saliva production, swallowing problems. Like there's a lot of like dryness factors that are involved that are autoimmune related. And then you put on top of that, there are actual pain issues. So in autoimmunity, people's nerves could be under autoimmune attack. So if you have burning, how many of you, because people will call it, I'm spacing out. But anyway, a lot of people have neuropathy, burning pain in their hands and feet. But you can also get that vaginally as well. So pain and hypersensitivity in the vaginal area or sexual area could be an issue. The other thing is, what if it's numbness? What if it's decreased sensation? So I see that all the time. So for me, it's really important actually for proper lubrication. And a lot of people are like, just get any lube, go get the KY. And I'm going to tell you, don't do that. I think it's really important that the right silicone versus water-based. I'm going to vote. Can you guys guess? Silicone versus water-based. I gave you guys the sneak peek answer last week. Type, if it was Dr. Maggie Yu's choice, would I say silicone or water-based? What do you think?
Water-based.
Silicone.
No, I said silicone.
Wrong. Boom.
Not the first time. No,
it's actually silicone based, and it's interesting because what I found is that and I'll put the brand that I do recommend. I don't sell it. It's a link we'll provide from Amazon. The brand that I do like, it's a silicone base and it's called Pure Original. I've recommended it for the last 10 years, and the reason is that it is medical grade silicone, which means that you don't have to use a lot of it. It doesn't have any odor or taste, and 1 or 2 drops is all you need. You don't need a large amount. There's a lot of allergy issues that people have to anything that they put on their bodies. So like a medical grade, no allergy product is really important. That gives you a lot of glide. It's really important, and that's long lasting. What I find is that water-based lubes, although like a lot of people think more natural, it just doesn't last very long. And people with autoimmunity needs, I think, a small amount, no odor, no taste, no allergy issues, and it lasts a long time. So like 1 or 2 drops is all you need. So the link that we provide, I would definitely say go for the larger bottle, but it'll last you a year or two, or maybe 10 years, depending on your frequency. In this case, it might last me 6 months. It's been road tested. It's my favorite lube over the past 10 years, and I've recommended over and over and over again. And it makes a huge difference. And I probably have tried hundreds. Yes.
Yeah, you know how this whole thing started with Dr. Yu. I asked her, I said, Dr. Yu, why is it that you know so much about sex on top of, you know, everything about autoimmunity? And what was your answer?
I've had a lot of it.
Right. So I have a lot of sex. But, okay.
I've had a lot of it, yes. But really, the real reason is that, believe it or not, I first came into functional medicine through hormonal health. So my early menopause at the age of 36, quote unquote, early menopause, which is really actually an autoimmune issue. I turned around in about 18 months. I was not in menopause.
Wow.
But yeah, I had what they call
at 36.
Yeah, they call it premature ovarian failure. They told me I had early menopause at 36. And it was not the case. It was actually an autoimmune disorder, Hashimoto's, that was also attacking my ovaries. And so once I calmed the autoimmunity down, guess what? My periods came back. My whole sexual health and life came back for the next 10 years. And I didn't really hit menopause till 46. And that was rather gracefully. Thank you very much the second time. But it's really, a lot of these hormonal issues are misdiagnosed. And people are told erroneously, oh, you can't have kids ever again. Oh, you're done. And it's horrible forever. And the thing is, that absolutely can change. But my first foray was early menopause at 36. So I started my practice in functional medicine using what I learned in bioidentical hormones to actually deal with a lot of men and women and their hormonal issues. And most of the time, what drives people, they think they got to come in to deal with hormones because of sexually related issues. But when you actually even dig, of course, you have to address hormones properly. And if you want to learn, and you're a woman and you want to learn how to address your hormones properly, we have a program called My Hormone Masterclass, where you get your hormones tested, really important, proper testing. And there's video modules to train you on the exact patterns that really can trigger a lot of these symptoms. And then number 3, My Hormone Masterclass also comes with a consultation with me as well at the end of the program. That being said, it's like what I found was that in uncovering a lot of these hormonal issues, I ended up learning a lot and addressing a lot of sexual health issues that people weren't talking about.
Right.
Like, who has asked you, when was the last time you had a doctor that asked you, is it weaker than it used? Does it take longer to get there? And is it weaker than it used to be?
Right.
Right. That's a very simple question, but I asked every single patient that question, and I got some really incredible answers. And in giving people hormones, balancing their hormones, I really learned that wasn't the whole kit and caboodle. There was a lot more to it. So I became a very experienced sexual health educator through the process of being a hormone specialist.
Right.
That's how I started into the foyer. And I learned later I had autoimmunity, and that's when the whole autoimmune education and functional medicine came in.
See, that's what I think is really cool. And one thing I mentioned to her is it's so rare to have somebody that's so educated be open and confident talking about sex. I mean, it's, you know, you see on television these days, you see like the same 90-year-old lady that's the expert on sex because nobody else does it. And so she's developed this program, and the honesty and, I mean, just the awareness is unbelievable.
Well, and I think that a lot of people don't realize is, I better watch my language. In autoimmunity, is that people who have some sort of chronic illness, they really have a lot of mindset issues. They have what I call sick mindset. And I don't mean they, and I mean myself as well. When you have sick mindset, your whole focus is around being sick. And
Right.
I'm sorry, but if you're focused on being sick, what else is going to go wrong? Right.
Right.
I don't think you're going to want to have sex.
Right.
And I don't think you're going to you're not going to be engaged in healthy relationships either. So the whole focus becomes around the identity of being sick. Even though you say you're trying to solve it, your identity is as a sick person.
Yeah.
So sick people don't want to have a lot of sex.
No. And, you know, I totally relate to that. My fiance, I mean, bless her heart, you know, having our first newborn baby, going to sleep at night, what happens is all she thinks about is the issues or what's going to happen tomorrow or handling this. Her entire focus is around issues. And so therefore, how is she going to think about sex? Right. And, you know, I'm not going to say that I'm the victim there because she's the one who just birthed the baby. And so, yeah, this helps.
And, you know, I know there's hey, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Boxers or briefs?
I was going to ask you something about that. I personally made a switch to briefs about 2 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
You like the brief thing?
I like holding them tight. I'll say.
So here's something interesting about that.
Yeah.
Do you know that increasing the temperature, so the distance of the testicle to your groin, actually, if it's too close, you raise the temperature of your testicles and you actually decrease fertility. This is why excessive hot tubbing and bicycle riding actually decreases sperm count in men.
Wow.
So,
wow. Okay.
I'm just saying, I don't know if you're looking for some natural birth control with your briefs or not.
I'm busted.
So I'm boxers. I'm boxers because I think there's actually the allowing it to actually hang more naturally actually increases sperm count. And I feel like it is actually better for hormonal production. Somebody
needs to make some medical grade boxers out there.
I think Transform is going to come out with some male boxers.
I love it.
With my
pre-ordering.
Okay, thanks. We got somebody who says, you go girl. Red Dragon Videos on YouTube says, you go girl. Dr. Ruth is 93. You're referring to Dr. Ruth.
Exactly. That's yes.
Dr. Ruth was responsible for my sexual awakening at 13, 14, listening to her in KFI radio in LA. That's where I actually learned sexual education in the beginning. Because in an Asian household, we don't talk about sex. So I was like having to listen to it KFI Sunday night at 9:30 p.m. at night to learn about sex. So I thank Dr. Ruth for blazing the trail and actually open conversations about sexuality.
That's so interesting. I'm glad somebody put that there because that's who I was referring to. And it's unbelievable. And that's why I think this is so important. And you have the personality, the platform. I mean, talking about sex. And that's why I urged you. July is sex month. Okay. And thank God. Thank God.
All right. We're ready for another question. Yeah. You guys should post some questions here. Hey, someone just said the hammock boxer. What's the hammock boxer?
I don't know, but I'll find out. I'm concerned for myself. Let's just say it's getting pretty hot down there, especially when I have to wear a suit. So that's good to know.
All right.
Hammock boxer. All right. Lights on or lights off?
Lights. What do you think?
You're a lights on kind of gal.
Absolutely 100% lights on.
Yes, she is.
It's really important. And I think that it's I think we have to understand the different kinds of the input that for sexuality is really important. And I don't think it's just men that are visual. Women are extremely visual as well. And there's something also about, I think, focus. Well, I think there's room for both, right? There's in the dark, but lights on. My preference is lights on because I like the idea that there's different kinds of input. So, and you may find that you prefer visual input. Some people like audio input, certain types of music, right? And that also like you think about touch and sensory as well. But me personally, I think that having the lights on, I think it's a great connection point. I think eye contact is really important in sexuality. And I think it's important. So that's why I think mostly eye contact, but visual, most men prefer visual. Some women shy away from it because of self-image issues involved. Right. And I can understand for women who are having a lot of struggling with weight or sexual identity issues that they may want lights off. So I get that. There's room for both, but my own personal preference is definitely lights on.
I like that. And that's something I was going to bring up. I think like the whole mental aspect of like, if I was going to somebody, years ago before my fiance, if I was going to have sex with a woman and I said lights off, immediately I think about how does that make her feel? Does she think I do not want to look at her? Does she think,
that's interesting. I never thought of that.
And so I just, I feel like it's, important to have some lights on for both people. It's like, I want her to, want to see me and I want, her to know that I want to see her. So I think that's really important.
Yeah. But that being said, it's interesting because when people are dealing with autoimmune issues, I can say that weight is frequently a big issue, whether it's overweight or underweight. And then when people are struggling with hormonal issues, there's the overweight or underweight issue as well. And that affects self-image. So that's why for me, I think it's a wash. I'm talking about my personal preference, but I think there's room for both for sure.
Right.
Someone said, can you talk about natural ways to increase testosterone for men with Lyme disease? I actually think that Jessica, I actually think that if you haven't seen my videos are about hormone balance in women, everything that I talk about with hormone balancing in women actually works for men as well, just so you know. And there's a lot, I talk about the root causes of hormone issues in men and women. And there's so much that has to do with pain, food, thyroid, vitamins and minerals, diet. There's a huge part of it. So it's a comprehensive approach that's needed. In our program, Jessica, Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally, we address male and female hormones everything root cause. You got to do it comprehensively. That being said, we have in our store, the MYMD store, we have a hormone essentials line. And one of the main products that I actually recommend for men and women is actually a product called Love Her. Love Her is actually 2 a day for men or women, even though it's Love Her, it's actually Love Him as well. But it's the hormones that are the hormone balancing herbs in there are really great to actually help men and women balance their hormones naturally. So I would say that, and vitamin D 5000 is really important as well. That's part of our vitamin D 5000 is part of our autoimmune essentials line. Did you know vitamin D is actually a hormone, not a vitamin? We call it vitamin D, but it's actually a hormone. So vitamin D is important for the production of every type of hormone. So D5000 from our store is what I recommend every day anyway, regardless. All right.
All right. Well,
All right.
The other question I have for you, what song puts you in the mood? What's your go-to? This might be a generational type of thing as well, but I'm very curious.
I love Marvin Gaye.
There you go.
I just think Marvin Gaye is amazing. And then, you know, a lot of people are like Luther Vandross. I'm a Marvin Gaye fan. So Marvin Gaye. But the funny thing is also like the song Let's Marvin Gaye and Get It On, which is not a Marvin Gaye song.
Oh, it's not.
It's one of my favorites at the moment.
That's where my mind went to. I was like, that's what she's listening to. But interesting.
But I think music is really important. I love music. And like, I mean, how many people... I mean, can you guys recall a song with your first kiss, your first makeout session, the first time you had sex? You probably remember some sort of song. Oh, I just remembered.
What was it?
Prince, and it's God, it was Prince, and it was the album. Oh, I'm dating myself. I'm going to be in trouble now. It was a Prince song for sure. It's not that way to go. I think it was his 1999 album was probably right around that time for me. So the music, and immediately when I hear a song from that album, I immediately transports me back to a place in time, right? So I think it's important to actually think about, like, for people who are very responsive to music and memory is really tied. And music and emotions are really tied. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really great to actually set the atmosphere right, to pick some music that you really enjoy and play it not too loud, but in the background. I think it's really important. That really triggers a lot of emotional connection, and it really activates the amygdala and the memory area of your brain as well. So I think that's win-win. What about you, music-wise?
Oh, man. Well, originally I was going to say maybe some Usher, but I would also say, and this is embarrassing, but maybe a little Justin Bieber.
Really?
As long as, you know, my fiance isn't thinking about him rather than me. Yeah, some Justin Bieber.
I didn't have you down as a Bieber.
I'm a believer.
You're a believer.
I'm a believer. Believe it or not. Yeah.
I love that. Awesome. Honesty. I love it.
Hey, you gotta be, of course. All right. So question once going back to the libido. Once your libido is gone, it's gone. True. Bullshit. Utter bullshit.
And I completely disagree with that. And the reason is that my own experience, right? I mean, when I was around from the 32, 32, I had my first and second child. Libido gone until 36, when all hormones were gone, early menopause, and they're like, you're in menopause, it's gone, it's dead. And as soon as I was able to actually employ the principles of the Transform program, right, my periods actually came back within 18 months, and came back. Balancing those hormones really caused my libido, sexual health to come back. And I'm currently 52, and, you know, it does not have to impact negatively upon your libido or your sexual response. You absolutely can have hormone balance at any age, number one. And the other factors that impact upon libido, like pain, like sleep, and gut issues, food issues, those are completely solvable problems. So I don't see anything with libido as being permanent.
So what was like your most important thing that you were doing in order to, you know, help that?
Getting proper sleep.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that the anxiety of insomnia for like 2 years around that time, the anxiety of just not being able to fall asleep and staying awake all night was the most isolating, alienating, depressing thing on the planet. And I think, yeah, it's just, I hit rock bottom, not sleeping for 2 years. And being able to, let's say, you know, taking magnesium, melatonin, having proper hormone balance within, you know, couple months, I was already sleeping better, and that completely rebooted my libido.
What do you think that is the most important supplement to take to kind of support that?
When you look at actually we have our sleep essentials. But I look at that line, Rest Her is
Yeah.
high dose melatonin. And high dose melatonin not only is helpful with sleep, but it has huge benefits in autoimmunity. And it's not just low dose, high dose. I did a whole video around Rest Her. If you guys are interested in learning more about melatonin, type it in the chat right now. But high dose melatonin is an antioxidant. It calms autoimmunity, helps with leaky gut, believe it or not, and heartburn. People with severe heartburn taking high doses of melatonin, super helpful.
That's kind of been like a hot topic recently. Is high doses melatonin. What do you consider high dose?
10 to 20 milligrams.
10 to 20, because typically it's like 1 to 5 milligrams is typical.
Yeah, and Rest Her is 5 milligrams. So typically I tell people to take 2 and up to 4 even, but you always start with 1 or 2. But high dose melatonin is incredibly helpful for sleep and regulating sleep, but it's really great for some of these gut issues that a lot of people with autoimmunity have. So if there was one supplement for sleep that I would readily recommend, would be Rest Her from our Sleep Essentials line. The other one would be high dose omegas. Our Pro Omega 1000. If you take 3 of those every night, hot damn, it's going to help you with a lot of the sleep. Hormone Balance with Love Her. Taking 2 Love Hers a day, men or women, super helpful with sleep. So there's literally hundreds of testimonials of people taking Love Her where within a very short time, their sleep has really improved, along with a lot of other hormonal symptoms as well. So that tells you how powerful hormone balancing really is for sleep.
Absolutely. And so I want to ask about the omegas really quick. So you're saying take around 3 grams of omegas at night?
Oh, yeah.
Always at night?
No, you can split it up, but I tend to do more at night. I will do 1 in the morning and I do 2 at night. I find that having that omega at night is actually really helpful, anti-inflammatory. While I'm sleeping, my cells are it actually helps heal while I'm sleeping.
That makes a lot of sense.
Most of the healing of your muscles and most of the detox that's happening with your liver is happening while you sleep. So there's certain things I like having people take at night to help that process.
Right. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Well, I'm switching my protocol up. That's for sure.
I think we're going to be, how are we doing with the questions? I think we're going to be wrapping up. Do we have any questions here? First Nocturne by Chopin. I've never heard that one. Have you? It's funny because I actually live on Chopin Lane.
Oh, that's right.
I better listen to that song. All right. Vitamin D, we're talking about. Great. And by the way, if any of you are interested in learning more about our program, you can join our Facebook group, Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. You can also book a call with our team if you want to work with us as well. The link is in the comment section right here. And if you think that anyone else can learn more about their sexual health and autoimmunity, go ahead and tag their name in the comment section right now. They may not hear it from you, but they may hear it from Dude, or they might hear it from me. Let's have one final question before we wrap this up.
Okay. Final question. Sexual positions is all about kink. True or false? I know you're an expert on this. When I was walking in here, trust me, guys, I walked past her room where she had some chains or whips, something like that.
Okay, wait. This is the blue room. Let's not talk about the red room. Woo, okay. Woo. All right.
Sorry, I had to do it to you.
I think that the conversation around sexual positions, people think is all about kink. And so people think it's kinky to talk about sexual positions, and I think that's bull. I think that especially for people dealing with chronic pain, a lot of nerve issues, pain issues involved, I think that sexual positions is a must-have conversation around their health and around sexuality. And I really am a big proponent of, because of pain issues, a lot of people just avoid sex. And that's why that proper lubrication is really important. But I also really a big believer in sexual furniture or props to help with positioning. So there's a company called Liberator, and there's various pillows and in different positions that really helps position you correctly so that sex is comfortable. And I think the people don't realize how much more the right position or the right tools to prop you in the right position can actually help with decreasing and making sex more comfortable. If you're in pain, you're not going to want to have sex, and sex is going to be terrible. So I think that's important to think about. Is there sexual furniture? Is there propping tools and pillows that could actually create better positioning for sex? And experimenting with different positions, depending on which part of your body is hurting, is a really important part of sexuality. Yet people don't talk about it. It's almost like, oh, my knees hurt, I can't have sex. Bullshit. You have to try different positions. And there's literally hundreds of different positions that you could try that could actually make sex more enjoyable and fun, even when you have pain in your knees, for example.
Is it just kind of trial and error?
Yeah.
is there a good resource for people if they kind of want to explore this further?
I think that checking out there's a brand, it was called Liberator. If you even just look on their website, you could actually see some of the pillows and positioning items that are available. But believe it or not, even if you go to a website looking for like relax the back, or you look at websites that have, like, let's say, sleep pillows, they even have little triangles and wedges. There's different pillows. There are pillows for people under their knees. There's a lot of different kind of ergonomic pillows and positioning tools, like in like an online site for like back pain even, that is really helpful for sexual positioning no matter what the disorder is. So I'm a big fan of that. And I really think for any reason, not even sexual reasons, if you have pain while you're sleeping, go check out some of these websites and look at the different type of pillows and ergonomics available. Example for me, I have an adjustable bed. So it's literally like a hospital bed in my own home, and being able to have that in different positions really helps with neck pain. So, sleeping and not having pain and waking up with less pain every day helps with everything. So having an adjustable bed is the other thing. And I got mine from Costco.
We have the same one, or same adjustable bed.
Yeah. And for me, I have a king and there's two twins basically. So partner can have one position or the other. Nice. I could just raise my head a little bit. I could raise my legs a little bit. I find that having slightly different positioning in the bed really helps decrease pain for those with autoimmunity. Or it's also great to be able to do that when you're having sex, we can adjust the angle of the bed into different positions to help with that.
Right. No, absolutely.
Okay.
The sexpert right here.
Sexpert. All right, everybody. I think that's going to be a wrap. If you guys enjoyed this, can you give dude some kudos here? Did you guys enjoy some about missionary Kama Sutra? Correct. Some Kama Sutra has a lot of positionings. If you actually even look up Kama Sutra and sexual positions, that's a great resource to look at. Tanya says you guys are funny. Oh, thanks. Someone else says this was very informative. Elizabeth says, I have problems from scleroderma down there. Any advice? Is too tight. This is right. I mean, this is a really big issue. There is probably at least 20 different autoimmune diagnoses that affects what we call connective tissue. And literally it is attacking the connective tissue that's in your joints, in your bones, also in the mucosal area, in the vaginal area as well. So Elizabeth, any of you struggling with any of these disorder, whether it's scleroderma, lupus, even if you don't have a diagnosis, but you're feeling that, these are problems that are solvable, but you need a root cause approach. What is causing that autoimmune attack in the first place? So that's a wonderful question. And if you want to watch my training on what are the 5 pillars of transform to solve these problems, write 5 pillars in the comment section below and tell me a little bit more about what's going on with you. Check in about a couple of hours your Facebook Messenger messages request, the message request box. You'll probably see a message from our team asking for more information and giving you a couple of resources. I have tons of trainings on this. You can also go to drmaggie.com and click the register for the training and watch the 5 pillars training. All right. So I think that is a wrap. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. And if you would like more dude to field some audience questions with us, say more of dude in the comment section below. Thanks, Joseph.
Thank you, Dr. Yo. That went well then.